what to do. Oh, welcome to the Isle of Roux, where no one can tell us what to do. Hey, we're very grateful that you've made the journey. Number 17.
Number 17.
We'll do the land acknowledgement, and then we will continue on with our evening. The Creator gifted us with this land that we are blessed to share and care for together. We acknowledge that the land we gather on, Wakinstas, is the ancestral territory of the Siksika Sitapi, the Siksika, the Gaina, the Pikani, and the Anskapi Pikani. We acknowledge all First Nations and Métis of Treaty 7 lands, the Sutena, the Ithkabi, which includes Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Goodstony. We commit to advancing reconciliation, guided by truths, respecting treaty laws, and humbly walking alongside First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. We recognize all who live, work, and play, and make art on these lands, and who now call this place home. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you feeling, Rich Teru?
Good.
I'm hitting share on my Gesundheit.
Bless ya.
Did I ever tell you my story about the power sneeze?
Not yet.
So I was teaching, and this kid in my class, super obnoxious kid, said, "Oh, we did this like massive sneeze like that." And I was like, "Dude, you did that on purpose." He was like, "100%. You should try it, Mr. Taylor." And I was like, "Pshaw." And then the very next time I sneezed, I let it rip like that. And I have ever since.
Just feels good.
The sound is good. Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's super funny. That's that's like the chef. Hi, Amanda, too. And hi, Zach. Zach's with us right now. Zach, look.
No way! Buenos dias! Buenos dias!
It was so fun to come.
Wild.
We're going to open it tonight.
Oh, they stickered all over it, hey? There was a really good drawing of a sun in there.
Here, we'll see.
Here comes it. Don't open it yet.
No, can I try to take this one sticker off?
Oh, that's exciting. I was wondering when it would ever come.
Oh, I can see this.
When and if.
Yeah.
You have reached the voicemail box of...
Oh, come on.
Look. Rich.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, Señor Daffy. Okay.
Hey, pedo. Hey, pedo. Amigos. Have you guys seen the film The Thomas Crown Affair?
Yeah, both.
Oh, both? Oh. The Pierce Brosnan one is one of my absolute favorite films.
You know, like, I'm a big fan of Steve McQueen. Pretty hard to top Steve McQueen.
Oh, yeah.
But, however, you're right, because how'd you do this? How was this done?
Fun.
Look at that. It's burned on the inside. How'd this happen?
They're everywhere. They were selling them everywhere on the Gauntlet. We called it the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
So the other thing I was going to say, it reminds me of is in Felix's bedroom we have a it's 12 years old. A nameplate made by a guy who was almost blind.
Oh, that's good.
I did one like this in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Is there one for every page?
Oh, I wish. I was productive, but not that productive.
This is a good.
Oh, this is exciting. I haven't seen these in a minute.
This is so wonderful.
What's up, Rita?
Yeah.
I'm doing this wrong.
Oh, yeah. There.
Oh, Frida.
Oh.
Oh, these were everywhere. These little mini trucks. Little Volkswagen. If you've ever been to PV, you've seen that, baby. Ooh, missing the eagle there, but that's tough to squeeze in.
Can't go around 3-letter tag.
Flip it. No, flip it other way. Rotate.
They're called. It's a road in little town San Pancho. If you've been there, you would know.
Oh, fun.
That's a good gift.
That is a beautiful
So
gift.
tell you what I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do, Zach, is I'm going to take this book and I'm going to match these pages when we go to
Cool.
On our trip.
California, and we can mail it back and forth.
Yeah. Oh, I'm down. And maybe it'll be like a little more, a little more real time.
Yeah.
That was quite a journey.
Well, I like being out of the real time now.
I like wait out of the real.
Yeah, that was a little memory lane. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was so fun. Theo's with us too. Hi, Theo.
You got the other works. Okay?
Yeah, last week we got them.
Greetings.
Hi, Theo.
I'm wearing earphones, so I'm hoping that you're not getting that noise that you were getting before.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
it sounds beautiful.
Yay.
Theo, I gifted a friend of mine a painting of yours that I got.
Excellent.
The Lollipop Forest and the Rock Candy Mountains.
The names don't mean anything to me, and my memory is so bad, that there's a few paintings floating around with those. But great. I hope they liked it.
So good, loved it, absolutely loved it. Yeah.
Great.
That was so fun.
Yeah, sadly, once I'm finished something and it's no longer staring me in the face, just drifts away.
Adios.
Yeah. I'll go into people's houses that I've have my stuff in it, and it'll just be, oh wow, did I do that? Gee, that's pretty good. How did I do that? That just happened to me the other day. Oh, I really like that. When did I do it? Oh, 10 years ago. Wonderful. Yeah.
How are you with money, and do you have that $50 you owe me?
Well, there are some things that do tend to stick with me. And the $50, yeah. No, I don't have it. Sorry.
Oh, that is a treat to see your work in its new life.
It is, yes.
Have you watched any of the last 3 episodes of Lost Hero X?
Nope. Haven't watched it at all. My latest binge was on BritBox called Ludwig.
Yeah. Let me tell you what's been going on in Lost Hero X lately is Felix woke up one day and was left alone in the ship, and then mysteriously the Wolfman showed up and took him away, leaving Felix screaming on a cliffhanger. And then Felix returned, still screaming on the next cliffhanger, only to find that the Wolfman was flying the ship. When he realized the Wolfman wasn't evil when he gave him some Pringles.
Oh.
The Wolfman and Felix ran through some dangerous aliens and landed on the planet where Plutus lives, where Plutus had informed Wolfman and Felix that Felix's parents had been abducted by the Dream Eater, Hunter, the Dream Hunter, who sucks creativity out of people. Luckily, Rich and Jess have a lot of creativity, so they have some to spare. But Plutus had warned Felix that the Dream Hunter would soon be after Felix. So Felix went after the Dream Hunter by going into, what did you call it? Creative blastoid. Super overload.
Yeah.
Which is where we're at right now. Felix has been tasked with becoming so creative that he overloads. Possibly. If it's possible. The only way out of this situation is to overload the Dream Hunter.
Yeah.
I think I might have just given you anyway.
Well, no.
But I do remember Plutus saying her last words were, Super Blastoid, Creative Overload. Zach, you ready to see the end of this quadruple?
Yeah, please.
It's not a trilogy, is it?
Quadruple.
I'm truly zoned out. How do I get back to where I was? Skip me out of settings. Okay, there we go. Present.
There.
Yeah, I just want to mute.
Do you want me to?
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
So, my parents are kidnapped. They're being held by the Dream Eater. They're getting their creativity sucked out of them by some weird space art vampire. And I need to go into Super Creativity Nova Blastoid and knock him out. I guess that was it. But you better get out of here.
That was weird. Let's take her out. How's your day? You got any homework to do? Let's get you doing some homework.
That was so good.
Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Not Wolfman. Wolfman.
Wolfman.
Wolfman.
He's such a good friend.
Yeah. Actually, Felix can't get no respect, eh?
Doesn't need to do his homework.
I will
Just saved
never.
our
I will
lives.
never forgive you for Blastoid Supernova creative mode. That, like,
It just came out of my head.
I put the sound back on for everybody.
Yeah, sorry.
Oops, I put it off for us. Here we go. Are we back? Can you hear me?
I love all the stealth work that Felix is on.
What's the word? Stealth?
Well, he's always saving the day, just and unrewardedly.
It's pretty low key, hey?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. I like that a lot. Get him on some homework.
Well, if you like that, would you like to see Jesse's floating head?
Are you going to put all the videos on the
Then I can start painting. So the only thing I ask is, we promise we'll do a better job with the green screen if you promise to use your imagination a little bit, okay? Yes? Yes?
Yeah.
This is a new character for us.
There's 2 new characters this week, I think.
Right. Here we go.
Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to the Talking Head Late Night Radio Show. We have a caller on the line. Caller, what's on your mind?
You public radio types, always spending my money. You're spending my tax money. You're probably a bunch of stuffed shirts and talking heads.
You must be talking about you, the stuffed shirt.
Yeah, figures. Have you even had a real job working with your hands?
Not as of yet.
Right. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. Libtard.
We show up.
Well, what exactly do you even do?
I sit with stories.
Well, that's not even a job.
Oh, it is. And if no one else will do it, I will.
What a load of crapola.
We bring people together.
Oh, BS you with your lefty, liberal, libtard, spending my tax money that I wanted to spend fixing my boat.
Oh, my friend, we're together right now.
How much do you know? You tell me, how much do you get paid
Oh,
for
no,
this?
we don't get paid for this. And if I did this for the money, it would be the least money. If I wanted money, I'd work for a commercial station.
Oh, so you're a communist, right? Commie pinko, commie.
Oh, is that what bothers you?
What really bothers me is that you're fake and you're telling perverted stories and you're perverting people's minds and that you're perverted.
Is that why you think I'm here?
You're an abomination.
Because you're here, we're here, I'm here. We're gonna go to some beautiful music here on Late Night Radiohead. We'll be here.
It will be here. We're so weird.
You gotta block that caller.
Problem is, we believe in inclusive free speech.
Yeah.
So we end up, were you there when that guy, was his name Rick or Reg? Were you there when the skinhead guy came and racked up like,
Rocco.
was it Rocco? I don't remember. I think it was, didn't he have my name?
I thought it was Rocco. Rico.
Rico, that is my name.
Well,
Yeah, isn't it? Rico came and like rocked up like $500. We didn't have something in place for
just in cases.
crazy people.
That's just a funny thing to say.
Everybody's like, he's not going to pay, and we're like, we know that. And then he was outside telling people he wasn't going to pay, and then he racked up like $500, and we didn't have like a way to say we're not going to keep taking your bids because
we think you're not.
You're freaking nuts. He ended up paying.
Do you want
That Rumble? That's early Rumble. When
Yeah, early Rumble.
Early Rumble, yeah.
I think I happily miss the Rico.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's the thing about inclusion, right? Is that
Yeah.
if you're going to be inclusive, then you got to be inclusive for everybody. You can't just be inclusive for
Kind of inclusive.
what suits your mood that day.
You're familiar with Karl Popper's work, though.
I am about to be.
The paradox, tolerance paradox.
Oh yeah, yes, I am. I ran an art gallery that was based on inclusion, so I am incredibly. What is his final summation?
I think he's like, I'm not familiar enough. I'm not, but I like to act smart.
No, you're super smart, and you're doing a ton of reading. I'm impressed with that.
Carl P.
So I was just looking at Jess had pulled out a book by Alexander Elliott, and it had some bathing beauties, and I tend to try and avoid being the exploitive male gaze, but there was just something about this art history painting of like people bathing in the river that really struck me. So I'm going to compromise myself by painting.
I thought there was such a beautiful painting of people not worried about the gaze or about like.
Well, I like how you think, but
and I guess like the viewer ends up being that gaze, but maybe it's like that joy of being in an innocent moment. Because I didn't feel like the painting was exploitive.
Well, because they were also historical.
Can I tell you? I thought they were all male. Isn't that funny?
You can tell me anything.
I just thought they were male dive swimmers.
We might be talking about different paintings from
maybe.
Perhaps a different painting caught each of our eyes.
I thought because it made me think of your paintings of because I like when you capture vulnerable male situations. So the idea of being like carefree and not worrying about like bravado and not worried about like expectations, and you often capture really beautiful situations where males are able to just be like themselves. And I think I was drawn to that painting, what I thought was that painting, because of that. Because it was like an older painting, and the idea of like no one was worried about anything.
Right.
Which is nice. Today the letter is K. I was going to talk about Callie.
Right. So we also did some other K stuff, and I forget what it was. Zach, what did you think of our new character, the lady with no body?
Oh, I love the head around the head.
Did it? So it worked really well, and then at some point I kind of like lost I kept like trying to like clean up the illusion, and then I completely lost the illusion of like her head floating. And so our low budget productions interfered with the illusion to some extent, but I think it was also that I was kind of experimenting to see what we could get away with the least amount of green screen.
Right, I was gonna say our first tester was really good, and then
I overdid with the shortcuts, and then I liked the performance that you had. You said you didn't like it, but I kind of liked your performance, so I ended up not.
There were some good moments. I'm glad we kept this one.
I chose the performance over top of the illusion, I suppose.
Yeah.
Do you have like 100 hard drives, or how do you?
I delete everything.
Nice. Whoa. Whoa, that's brave.
Yeah, so like part of it is we do archive this stuff on the YouTube channel, And so should YouTube ever go like full pay service or something, we would be missing all of our stuff. But basically, yeah, it's not even just the hard drives, it's the stress of having so much to sift through that every week we make a new video and then Jess puts them onto YouTube, and I'm like so eager to delete them. And there are times when I get so eager that I delete them before they're even used or archived. Like, well, there's a day's work we're not getting back, kind of thing.
I mean, that's wild. There's probably some type of balance because I'm paralyzed by keeping everything and hoarding data and having so much content I don't even know where to start. So I'm losing.
Where do you keep all your content?
What am I doing with it?
Yeah.
I have like 4 or 5 monster hard drives.
I have an hour's worth of video of Felix set to my favorite music.
Yeah.
That I keep on a hard drive. And well, here's something else to consider about the hard drives, right? Should you put a lot of faith in those hard drives always being there, there's a very good chance you might one day load up one of your hard drives and just find it spinning.
Yeah.
And I say that because I used to have about 5 years worth of teaching content on a hard drive that I used to carry around in my backpack. And one day the entire thing just turned into a brick paperweight. And so since then, I've lost all faith in hard drive. I guess like I used to have this laptop that I bought. My grandfather passed away, and they'd left me like this fund for my future fund. And my mom always talked about it like at some point I might be able to buy a Rolls Royce or pay for my university or something. And I had to wait until a certain age for it to come to fruition. And then it did. And I had like enough to buy a laptop. So that was a little disappointing. And then I used this laptop at school. And then one day I was writing an essay and it just shut down while I was working. And I was like, I cannot work this way. Like, I can't possibly write and then wonder if what I'm writing will be there when I'm done. So I had to get another laptop. Maybe that's what happened is my previous laptop started shutting down and I used the inheritance from my mother's family to buy a new laptop. Did you get out and vote?
Not yet, but it's on the calendar. It's coming up, right?
Monday, yeah.
We had some local show go on, and our mayor's city council just got rocked. Everybody wanted him out of there.
Huh.
Which section are you living in? You're still downtown?
Where am I? Yeah, East Van. I'm like, I don't know what the riding's called. But if anybody out there wants to dox me, I don't know. I voted at Trout Lake. I don't know.
It would be fun to live in Burnaby and be able to vote for Joey Shithead.
Oh yeah. What did he do? What was he? He was
DOA.
punk, right?
Yeah, from DOA.
Yeah, DOA. Yeah. He's a good interview.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I picture him having, like, actually, now that you mention it, I don't think I've ever heard his speaking voice, and I kind of picture him having, like, a Cockney accent, which is crazy because he would have a
Canadian.
Very BC accent.
Yeah. Pretty regular.
That's really funny.
Do you think of yourself having an Alberta accent?
I haven't until now. I think I might, though.
Yeah. I grew up in Coquitlam and Calgary and Edmonton, and I always thought I was pretty, like, fit in till I went out and lived in Vancouver one summer and realized I was seen as an Alberta boy. And I did not like that phrase. The other thing that really sticks with me is Gord Ferguson and Blake Sanini had pioneered this look when I was in art school of like the rugged Canadian, kind of pre-Joe Canadian, like flannel and work boots. This was like the sculpture department when I was in art school. Did they still have that when you were there, Jess?
I guess so. Ferguson was a little
It
older.
definitely exists.
I kind of remember Ferguson the last time I saw him looking way more like jaunty sweaters. And
Yeah,
scarves
that's
and
what I
things.
remember.
He was like a rugged, macho. He looked like a stereotype of a logger. And I say this because I went out to Vancouver, just like I think I went through a bit of a breakup that day, and I had registered for all my classes with my ex-girlfriend the week before we broke up. So not wanting to face a day with her, like double lunch classes and stuff, I just booked myself a flight. Back then you could fly student standby for like $100 return. So I flew out student standby instead of going to school. And I remember I was walking downtown Vancouver, and I passed this girl that was showing her friend around. And her friend, as she walked by, she said to her friend, "Typical logging boy." And I was like, whoa, like couldn't be farther from it.
But you had
I had the whole uniform on.
The egghead sculpture.
Yeah.
The uniform.
Yeah, I had the whole. It just wasn't a logging uniform in Calgary, Alberta. Also, Zach, everywhere I went, people kept whispering at me, "Skunk." And I was like, do I smell bad? Because that wasn't a phrase that we used.
Weird.
What does that mean?
Skunk?
Was that real? Are you allowed to repeat it? I don't know.
What does skunk mean?
A skunk?
Yeah, skunk.
They might have thought you were French.
They were suggesting I might want to buy a product of.
Oh, I thought that's funny that you said French, like Pepe Le Pew.
No, it was like that was just a word for pot.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Little cartoon indoctrination there. But now they want. They were pushing. They were pushers.
Have you?
That was part of the move out here. Pretty liberal out here.
Is that still a phrase? You wouldn't know.
It's aged. It's aged. It's like it's carried. That generation has carried it on. It
Right.
exists. Yeah.
I didn't think kids were still speaking this way today, but what I'll say is that I was anxious about my body odor, not knowing it was a popular term for. And maybe people don't need to speak in code anymore.
That's so beautiful, Rich. It makes me think that summer's coming.
Right.
You guys do spring cleaning?
Like, yes.
Yeah, we've been going actually for a few weeks, like room
Only
by
like-
room.
Yeah, but also in context of like our spring cleaning started last June, and then we spent 6 months throwing out the Rumble House stuff, and then
Now we're still.
our spring cleaning continued right up until December,
Yeah.
and then sort of spread into our actual spring because now we're
Going through this stuff.
yeah. So like it just this year's extra cleaning.
But it's good organizing time. Going through everything. Fresh starts.
Oof, been cleaning my buns off.
It's good.
You should clean your buns. Want to know my secret for random?
Shoot.
Do you ever try and do things like stars and you want them to be random?
Mm-hmm.
So my experience is that no matter how hard I try and do random, I still end up with a pattern. But if I try and do things in groups of 2 or groups of 3,
yeah,
it does create a more random pattern.
I've heard this before. This might be. I might have heard this from you.
I do have like a tendency to repeat myself.
Well, yeah, just endless lessons. They're fountain.
I was also going to repeat myself about. Now, I don't care what people vote for. People can vote for whatever they want. But I keep saying, like, I wouldn't have made it to this point if it wasn't for the CBC. There's a span of time in my life when I got out of art school and I'd read a book and I'd feel compelled to write an essay and there was no one to mark it. And I got a job in a sign company. And I would say that the general lunch talk at my sign company was about fighting on 11th Avenue or doing the kinds of things that might get you arrested without being understanding of how a gentleman should act. And I told my boss, I said, listen, man, like I'm going to freaking kill somebody if I have to listen to this crap anymore. And I'm going to start listening to headphones. So it's not really a great idea to listen to headphones in a shop with like power tools and stuff. But given that I was sort of being drawn to kill somebody, and it could have been anybody, basically anybody in that shop, my boss conceded and said, maybe it's not such a bad idea if you start listening to some headphones instead of like
plotting our deaths.
Yeah, right. And so I listened to literally every tape I had, then I listened to every CD I had, and then I started listening to the radio, and they play the same 10 songs on the radio over and over again. I listened to every radio station. I even listened to like the fascist conservative talk radio before I got to the CBC, which I kind of associated with something my grandmother would listen to. And I flipped on the CBC, and it was Peter Zosky talking about this little red wagon. And I was like, wow, I had that wagon. And then Tom Jackson was on the same episode, and they started talking about this sled. And I'm like, dude, I think I have that sled. And so there I was, like, kind of like enamored by this weird programming of these two kind of like geezers talking about their toys from when they were kids and Canadian stuff. And I just got sucked in. And then what would happen is the Arts Hour would come on, and there was a whole drama with this journalist from Africa that was going to get hung. And that year I just got sucked into the CBC. Like I could not. So anyhow, I went through some rough times those years. And I think there was a number of times when I might have been like driving around looking for just the right bridge to go off of. And more often than not, I'd be listening to CBC in the middle of the night and something interesting would come on. I decided to give it one more day. So I really feel like during my toughest times, this gratitude to CBC for keeping me alive.
That's really nice.
And I know it's become kind of a talking point for some of the people in the elections. And I've been trying to like spread love around for everybody, despite what their political beliefs are. But at the same time, if you take my CBC away, I'm going to go full terrorist.
Full. Not half.
I shouldn't joke about terrorism, I guess.
My buddies and I call it full Joker.
Full Joker,
That's
my friend. Right. Yeah.
Full Joker. Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, I got you. That makes
good.
Sense.
Specific, yeah.
I wasn't thinking Heath Ledger. I was thinking like Killing Joke. But same idea, yeah.
Yeah. CBC. I used to listen to the CBC lots in my grandfather's wood shop. He used to teach me how to carve stuff and work a lathe. And
well, you shouldn't. It'll turn you into a communist.
It worked. It worked. I had to draw a communist candidate on the last election ballot.
Yeah.
I drew my guy in, Kimball, and he it like when I fed it into the thing, it's like error. I'll just show you.
Ask Theo who's voting for. He will give you an earful. Did I mute Theo because of the clunking? Let's get Theo back on.
Nice.
Theo, is there any chance you've been talking to us?
Nope. I knew that you had put me on don't speak mode.
Oh, well, we love when you speak. It's just the
It was just when you were playing the video.
well, it was like there was some clanking.
My pen and ink work isn't that noisy, sunshine.
Something was clanking.
I do like that piece, Theo.
Well, thank you. I'm not overly enamored of it because I'm just terrible at inking, and I want to ink it a lot. So the odds are I'm going to mess it up, but I don't care. It's acrylic. I can paint over it. The only area I like is actually the sky and the original drawing, which was the yellow mitten cloud. Everything else is kind of forced.
I don't think of you as bad at inking. I think you're amazing at inking.
No, I'm bad. Have to argue there, Rich. Well, let's put it this way. I don't like my inking.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll never argue with you what you like.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I have, some pretty simple ideas about stuff. And one of the simple things is like there's a lot of things you can't know. And so when people start arguing with me about things they can't know, I immediately tune out. And then there's some just logic things like I had commented on the CBC this week, and this guy started telling me about how it was all communist radio. And I thought, well, that's funny because, like, either you're talking about something you don't know what you're talking about, or you listen to radio you hate so that you can complain. And either way, I'm a little concerned. And it just seemed obvious to me that that it was kind of a no-go conversation,
Yep. There's well, when someone says something that's so patently stupid, what else can you do but tune them out?
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Yeah. I listened to CBC for I'd say from about 1970 to about 1995 full time. And the reason I listened to it was no advertising.
Mm.
I hate advertising. And I really loved all of the programmers. They were knowledgeable, and I learned a lot about stuff that I didn't know. Mind you, I've forgotten it, but that's beside the point. It gave me an appreciation for something other than just rock and roll music, which was my first true love of music.
Mm.
And so we went from there. But yeah, the CBC was great. And anyone who thinks that it's this cesspool of extreme left-wing communist sympathies is someone who really is about as aware as a dead snail.
Well, that's actually kind of what I brought up the CBC story about earlier, is that I remember when I started listening to the CBC, my boss and mentor and friend at work, James, had said, "Oh, you're listening to the Communist Broadcasting Corporation." And he joked about not trusting me because I was listening to communist radio. And I thought, like, I'm super naive sometimes, right? So I was like, oh, wow, like I didn't know it was communist radio. And so
because you listen to people and you take them at face value.
I listened to them and I took them at face value. And then on top of that, I immediately started listening for like indications, right? And then this is like 30 years later. I have always listened ever since I started listening to the CBC. willfully. I mean, obviously it was on the radio when my babysitter was taking care of me or whatever. But as an adult, I started listening to CBC. And it was around that time that my boss had called it the Canadian Communist Broadcasting Corporation. And so I was always listening to see, like, where did he get that from? And the thing I find is it's a little bit like teaching, right? Like, people think teachers are all communists and we're trying to indoctrinate the kids into socialism. And the thing is, because we're teachers, it is our obligation to not talk about that when we're at school. Anyways, I can talk about it when I'm online. But it's our obligation to not try and sway the kids one way or the other. Because of that, we tend to be a little bit like even over on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So you get this like body of people, kind of like Fox News thinks that the media is so biased towards being liberal that it's right and proper for them to be the extreme opposite in terms of conservative. And so I'm always shocked at how the CBC will put like highly, highly conservative people on the radio, and they'll sit there and bash the CBC for being communists. And I'm like, you could pull the plug at any point, but they don't. And I'm always amazed at how they don't, and how they go to an extent to cover both sides. So I do also think that there's a tendency that if you wanted to make money, you'd probably work in commercial radio. And so there probably is a tendency for there to be more socialists teaching and working for the CBC. Right. But for the amount that we spend trying to be neutral, the other side doesn't seem to have any commitment or obligation to being neutral, which kind of shocks me. And I also, right before I shut Rumble House down, I made a comment about politics on the feed, and somebody said to me like, "Oh, I thought you guys were supposed to be better than that." I'm like, when did I ever promise to keep my mouth shut? Like,
wait, when did I give you
when
that?
did I ever give you the impression that I wasn't going to speak my mind? Was what really bothered me. And I was super angry that this person wrote, "Oh, I thought you guys were like," and the assumption I think a lot of times was that we were accepting grants and we had an obligation to not be political because we're accepting grants. And that's exactly why I worked my ass off to never accept any grants. Because I didn't ever want to have to be held to some sort of.
I often wondered about that.
What's that?
Keeping it freedom of speech. You're not running advertising. You're not endorsed by. Yeah, that's certain.
It's the only thing I really care about is my autonomy.
Yeah. Very cool.
And then when I get into destructive mode, watch out, I'll burn my own house down and make you angry. So it's shocking to me that people are like, "Oh, I thought you were supposed to be whatever." I'm like, well, I do believe in inclusion. And then actually, to be honest, like I do catch a little bit of heat sometimes for being two-faced. Because I'll be polite to somebody who has a different set of views than me. And then people think I'm not being earnest because I, let somebody with a difference of opinion into the gallery. So you can't win. Like, that was somebody complaining.
As long as you're true to yourself, it doesn't matter what other folks think.
It matters to me what you think, Theo.
Oh, okay. Well, there is that. But then my name, Theo, is short for God. So, I mean, I expect you to, to respect and, worship the words that fall out of my mouth without a shred of conscious logic behind any of them at times.
Theo?
Oh yeah. That's just totally because you're Theo. I mean, there's lots of other Theos that go around with the same attitude. Let's see. Mr. Flurry is good at that, if I seem to recall.
Guess what my name is?
Fred?
It's not Fred at all.
Oh, okay. I think Fred would be a good name for a god.
Oh, just guess my full name, Theo. Just humor me.
Rich is short for Richard.
Richard.
Okay. Theodore.
Theodore Louis Theroux. I am also
Richard Theodore Louis Theroux.
I know. I kept that on the down low when I was a kid.
Oh, let's see. So RTLT. That's got a good sequence to it. Good beat. RTLT. He's the man you want to be. LTRT. Woo! Yeah, I like that.
That was good.
Jesse and I had this conversation just last night because
like
we were
earlier this morning.
walking on the train tracks, and there's the manhole
LRT.
said LRT, and I said, because my name is Richard Theodore Louis Theroux. Every time I see LRT, I think of my own name. Now, also, my friends did make fun of my full name, Richard Theodore Louis Theroux, but that was only until I told them what another name short for Richard was Dick. And then that really stuck. I shouldn't have told the kids.
You're like, you think that's bad? This is worse.
That's exactly what I did. Like, I'm like, you guys are going to go with Theodore? Because that's not the funny part of my name. They're like, what's the funny part of your name? I'm like, oh, man. Oh. And then if it's an interesting story, do you think I can keep it to myself? No.
No,
I cannot.
When my maiden name was Sabo, and so my initial was JES, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And now that I'm married and Theroux, my initials are JET.
Jet.
Yeah, Jet.
That's one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs.
Which one's that? I'm terrible. Jet? There was a song they did. See, memory. It's such a nice thing if you have it, but I don't. So, yeah. If I need to know something, thankfully there is the Intertubies. Yeah. And barring that, there's this wonderful institution called the library. It's great.
Yeah. We're going to connect with our library very soon, because when we didn't have a gallery for a year, Jess and I used to go to the library once a week to try and get ideas out on big tables. And we don't need to do that now because we have a big table here, but it is kind of nice, I think, to have a space where you can do work that's separate from your sleeping space. So we're going to try and get back in the habit of going to the library once a week to just do homework. And then Felix is playing Dungeons and Dragons with his friends over the phone. And we thought it would be pretty fun if they
got to play IRL.
Yeah, so we're going to try and take them to a table at the library and see if they'll let the kids sit and play some Dungeons or Dragons.
Yeah, I think they got space for that. At the very least, you can do it in the coffee shops. They've got a couple of them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
We met a very nice lady at the Apple store. We're going to make her a painting.
Oh, sweet.
Her name was what?
Xena. Also, we're going to be, so April 26th is Independent Bookstore Day. And so we're going to drop off a painting you did for Shelf Life.
Yeah, and you know what else? We got invited to do a kind of a mural at the Blues Fest.
Oh, cool. And that's out at, what do they call it now? Where Fort Calgary is?
Yeah, not crazy about that area.
No? Oh, well. It's a nice area, you know.
We do like the river. But it's
haunted. Well, that just makes it all the more interesting, Rich. Jeepers.
It's like cops haunted.
Oh, well, yeah, you know.
It's the wrong kind of haunted.
It ain't got the right haints. Is that what you're saying?
The what?
Oh, haint. It's a slang word for ghosts, spirits.
Yeah, there's different kinds of spaces for me. And I don't have any logic or rhyme or reason between this. I didn't like my parents' backyard and would do anything I could to stay out of my parents' backyard. And I lived in a weird spot. And I don't believe in ghosts, but yeah, when I used to live in Vic Park, right by the Stampede.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nothing but bad stuff. And I don't believe in that stuff, but I see it and smell it. And want to see another video?
Yeah, for Kate.
Sure.
Roll it.
No, let me start that again. Why do we do puppets?
Like, why am I a puppet?
What? Yeah, why do we do puppets?
Truth. To find truth. To have fun with truth. It makes it less scary.
So it's like a mask, like David Bowie and his, what was that called? Kabuki?
Like,
What's David Bowie's masks called?
yeah, I think he was influenced by the Japanese mask.
What was it called?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
She goes.
Can you pop in?
Huh?
Can you pop in? Because it's camera's on.
Sorry.
Hi. Part of it's just because, sometimes we want to go to the bathroom. And part of it is because we're kind of a variety show and puppets provide some variety. We have kind of a limited cast.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think a lot of it is just a way to escape the personal. It's even more personal because it's less personal.
Right. We're able to say things that Jess and Rich couldn't really say easily.
Right.
Rich says stuff easily, but Jess doesn't.
What is one thing you could say as a puppet you'd have a hard time saying in your fleshy form?
Flashy.
Peopling is hard, and sometimes I just want to headbutt people.
Masks.
Yay, headbutting.
Headbutting.
So I said kabuki. And
It's not just for goats.
It's not just for goats. It could be anything. I know the other one now. I said it in
Yeah.
my head. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, headbutting. Also, David Bowie's masks were so beautiful, and the fashion that he with was so beautiful. But I like that idea of being able to put a mask on and be somebody else.
When I think of Kabuki, I think of an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kabuki theater, and there's ghosts.
Do you remember the song that came from that episode?
Oh, if I heard it, I would. Yeah.
I just remember that one had a very, very repetitive. That was sort of a span of time where it was newer, kind of newer Scooby Doo's, and then they were coming up with one almost every year. That wasn't long after Scooby Doo Zombie Island, and I think Scooby Doo Zombie Island, Scooby Doo had been kind of asleep for a while, and then or the Hex Girls.
No, your Scooby-Doo history's way more tuned than mine.
Robin was super into Scooby-Doo. Actually, I think Oliver was as well. I never really liked Scooby-Doo. I didn't really connect with anybody on that show. Scooby and Shaggy were kind of cowards, and Freddy was dumb, and Velma was kind of okay, but not a big part of the show. And Daphne drove me nuts. And I think they did some things to try and contemporary, make those more contemporary. But I also remember there's a span of time when they tried to make Scooby-Doo and Shaggy into vegetarians, and I'm I'd seen them eat 1,000 hot dogs, trying to fool. Okay, Zach, I got one more movie. You want to see it?
Lay it on me.
So we have a new character called Headless Gertrude. What's her name? Headless Griselda?
Griselda.
Headless Griselda. And then now there's also Invisible Susan.
Oh, I forgot about this.
I know. We've been busy. Because we had the week off.
We have the week and then we just start creating things.
And also I wrote a lot of the content for that 4-story arc.
Yeah.
And so my brain was kind of...
Hi, Rich. Can you come get me?
Yeah, sure. Where are you?
I'm at the police station.
Okay, I'll come down and get you.
Thanks.
So is it something you want to talk about?
Not really.
Is it something that's going to happen again?
I hope not. I just feel so invisible sometimes. No one sees me. Everyone overlooks me. I get so mad. I didn't mean it. I just wanted someone to see me.
Well, it's lucky you got away with a warning.
Yeah, thanks for picking me up.
It's okay. I know how you feel.
What?
Of course I do.
What do you mean, of course you do?
Yeah, I feel that way too all the time.
You have awards. You have a TED Talk.
No, that's not me. Of course, people see you and they think they know who you are and they think they have an idea who you are. That's not me. In fact, most people, when I meet them, I feel like I wait until they figure out I'm not stupid. And then the faster they figure out I'm not stupid, the faster I can trust them. I'll tell you the truth, the longer it takes them to figure out I'm smart, the stupider, I think they are. Of course I'd say that though, right?
No, that makes sense.
Listen, I see you. We all see you. You're visible to us on the Isle of Roux.
Thanks, Rich.
Plus, if you weren't invisible, you would have no weirdo. What's your weirdo without that?
I guess so.
Fly your freak flag.
It's a pretty good one, I guess.
Okay, that's not bad.
I like the masks and the puppets because it does allow you to be a little more vulnerable.
That was good. I liked it.
Thank you.
So actually, it's funny because Invisible Susan has no face, and
Griselda only has a face.
Yeah. Although I still like to call her Headless Griselda, even though she only has a head.
That is funny.
But this is the Isle of Roux.
Maybe you should call her Head Full.
Head full.
Well, Jess also was concerned that I wasn't making sense, but I thought that was the whole point of the Isle of Roux. I don't have to make sense.
Right. That is true.
Elsewhere in the world, I'm stuck to the laws of
Beholden.
gravity and
Beholden to
logic. But here I can do whatever I want.
That is true. You like that.
I'm painting with my what do you call it?
Indigo?
Indigo.
I really like that every time you mix it, it kind of has a different...
Well, I've been going deeper and deeper. Zach, do you have any shows coming up?
Well, we were just discussing maybe a summer show. This spring cleaning, I'm looking at a whole new studio, so got excited. Got a lot of work in here.
That's awesome.
I have a lot of work too now.
Yeah.
Selling things. And I do think as the audience starts catching up to using the opportunity to send us a letter and get a free painting, I think that I'll have a nice stack of stuff to start
sending out
as that starts to kick in.
Right.
like we're sending stuff out a little bit now, but I'm looking forward to as like the community builds and people send us more and more stuff that'll have like a backlog of catalog to send them. Because I love the idea of people just from all over sending us stuff.
Mail, yeah.
But it is kind of like daunting to see it pile up.
Just because we're not used to it.
Yeah. I'm used to it leaving faster than I can make it. Is it a little blown out? I bought new lights, and we have a lot of new lights right now.
Lighting.
I have to figure out which lights we're going to keep.
Well, I wouldn't use the term blown out. It's bright. Punk rock.
Right on.
I like that.
Did you grow up listening to punk music?
Lightly, the softest punk.
Like, okay, because we're talking about this at the record store because they had Blink 182 in the punk section. Jess was offended. But what I find is that my sensibilities are kind of evolving. And there's a lot of music that I wanted to like when I was younger that I just didn't really connect with because I think I was sort of stuck on melody, right? And then so it sort of has worked out in my life that I'm starting to develop a kind of a sensitivity for music that I used to really wish I liked. And that's a weird thing to say, right? Like I was perhaps putting on airs, even with jazz. When I first started listening to jazz, I was listening to the most like accessible jazz, that kind of stuff you hear at Starbucks. And I really wanted to like lots of different things, but sometimes I put it on like my ears were just like, wow, this can't wait till this is over. And now, like even Jess was playing Patti Smith today, and I have to admit that I didn't love Patti Smith in terms of the joy it gave me to listen to. I loved Patti Smith conceptually, and
as an artist.
Yeah, but now I'm starting to really my brain. So it kind of blows my mind when like we're at the record store and there's these like 20-year-olds with amazing taste in music. I'm like, how did they develop such an open mind to sound? And I wonder if it's that they had like parents that like connected them with good music, or what it is, what exposure allows you to sort of have that brain that can really. Some of my friends were like involved in Core magazine and what was it, The Gauntlet as music, and I was always kind of amazed at like how people, even with art too, right? Like I make art that I like. I don't worry about whether I'm this powerful voice that can define what's good and bad. Then I started teaching and became accountable for being able to discuss what's good and bad. And that's a grind because I hate that part of my job. But, you know, Elijah had a natural sense for like, he had no problem just going, oh, that's shit. That's not, you know, and sometimes like I have a feeling for what's good and bad. But I think you were also saying, maybe we all have this sort of feeling like when somebody's like definitively saying, oh, like, I know this is crap. Like, where do they get this idea that they know what's good, you know?
The confidence to know it, you know, there's like.
Well, yeah. And I mean, in total contrast, when people come and ask me like, oh, like, can you go through my work and tell me what's good? Because they're going to hang a show. I'm like, no, it's your job. It's your job to know what's good before you hang it. And that's kind of a lie because I have the same doubts about my own work. Like, I definitely know which my best piece is, but that idea of having to defend it and being able to speak intelligently to why one piece is better than next, it's a kind of a lifelong journey, you know. Also, normally this conversation is Jess admitting she has doubts in herself, and then she usually talks about how confident I am, and I just kind of nod and act like that's true, but it's not. We all have doubts.
Yeah. I think when I heard you and Elijah talking at Girl House, I was like, how does this happen? Like, were you granted this
right
gift?
now, but that was 3 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about our opinions,
right,
not on like what would I publish, right? Like I'm not gonna. And even now, it's very rare that you'll find an art critic willing to publish on anything. Like nobody's definitively gonna say, you know, like art critics will talk about where the art pieces are and what's in what corner, but they won't talk about what's good or not, because nobody ever wants to make those kind of like concrete
statements.
They did in the poetry book. We got published.
Funny,
and we actually had an art critic or poetry critic discuss our poetry, and Jess was really alarmed. Like, oh, they said it was saccharine at points, and
I am saccharine.
Well, there's two things. One, I knew they were talking about your poems and not mine.
Because you're talking about wet meat bags, and I'm talking about love.
Yeah, I don't use saccharine terminology, so that's you know, it's like when people call me like too gentle. It's like that's not the problem, guys. You know, like I might be a little bit inconsiderate sometimes, but.
What I was gonna say was I really like the idea of maybe even at a point, or like you said, 3 a.m. talking with Elijah, or like different points you had, like you feel like that confidence, or you like were able to talk about it. But then I like the idea of constantly knowing that we don't know things, and then kind of questioning and thinking about that. So it's like you're never stuck feeling anything, you know.
And then when asked, I will tackle that and speak to an answer, maybe also, not the answer, but I will speak to an answer.
Like Alexander Elliot kind of freed us from that too. That idea of like you go up to a piece, and if it talks to you, then
everyone's entitled to have their experience with the artwork. And those people that try and dictate to you what you should or shouldn't like should be burned in a pit. I think you said something
along those lines.
It's like a matter of taste at some point. Where taste is so subjective.
Well, that can be problematic as well, though, right? Because then you get people that will tell you, "Oh, I don't know anything about art," and then in the same breath, they start talking about what is and what isn't art, and you're like, "Okay, which was it?" You know, like you didn't have an opinion, or you know everything because you're entitled.
Not so much an opinion, but an authority,
right?
Where you can just claim to be tastemaker. And just endorse some.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that word "tastemaker" is my least favorite word.
Yeah, no, I was using it negatively. Yeah, I didn't want.
No, I know. I'm not criticizing. I'm agreeing with you that like, like even just contextually, like, what are you actually claiming to do with your life other than like try and dictate to other people
what other people?
Yeah, it's really grotesque. I think the word "tastemaker" was like a
insult, and then someone took it as a positive
code word for the dreaded critic, but nobody's willing to be a critic. And so tastemaker actually maybe has a little more positivity because it sounds like you're promoting somebody.
You're at least like bolstering somebody's.
And you know who really ripped that to shreds was David Bowie, because he was talking about graffiti. And how, you know, everybody thought that he was talking at a time when Keith Haring and Basquiat were being paid attention to. Yeah. And he was like, don't be ridiculous. Like, here's what happens is the galleries have opened up the doors to these
two people,
handful of artists. Mm-hmm. And they didn't do that out of like open-mindedness. They did it so that they could slam the door shut on everybody else. So this idea that they were dictating who
got in,
who could be listened to, who could be seen, right?
Oh, interesting.
And coming from him too is very important because he knows that it's not.
Well, he would have the same kind of relationship as Vincent Price, right? Like Vincent Price was a fantastic painter, but wouldn't have known he was a good painter because he was Vincent Price, right? And I think actually, were you talking about Pierce Brosnan earlier?
Yeah.
Also a painter. And who else was?
Yeah, he just did work with Obey, didn't he? Ferry.
He did, didn't he? He didn't really seem confident in knowing what he was doing. I saw that video. But, like, I think that, like, there were a handful of famous people. Jim Carrey also paints. And
Charlie's Angels, Lucy Liu, I think she's into painting them.
Does she paint?
I think so.
Would you say she's any good? I know we just talked about this.
Paints like she's rich. It's good. But it's rich. It's obvious she's rich.
Right. Well, I will say that I couldn't. I couldn't complain about Jim Carrey's paintings because he's putting paint down in a way that I wouldn't, because he doesn't have the same limitations in terms of product. He has space and product, and he can take risks. And so I don't hate Jim Carrey's paintings, but I can't say I'm not threatened by them, right?
Right.
Whereas like Bob Dylan's paintings are exquisite. David Bowie's paintings were exquisite. Vincent Price's paintings were pretty banging. Pretty impressed with him. I ended up buying my mother, you know, when you were young and you wanted to buy your mom a Christmas present, but you didn't have a lot of dough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought my mom some art books one Christmas, and one of the art books was on sale, and it was like stars who also were painters, and it had all those people in it. And I remember, oh yeah, Anthony Hopkins, also a pretty great painter.
Whoa.
But I remember being kind of amazed at like not only like who paints and who doesn't, but like who's got some chops and who doesn't.
Yeah. I want to see Anthony Hopkins' art collection.
It's good. You should look it up. Now, the other problem with that, there's two things. Is one, it's hard to get an authentic idea, you know, whether they're being advocated for because they're famous or whether they're being advocated for because they're good. And I think Billy Bob Thornton kind of went through that when he was presenting himself as a musician, and he didn't want to be seen as a movie star who was also a musician. He wanted to be just treated as a musician. And you're like, yeah, well, I happen to know you're a movie star as well. So let's not pretend. But I think I've dropped the plot. What were you saying?
Oh, yeah. This nepotism, the next step is paranoia that, you know, it's all being orchestrated.
Right.
That like, oh, you're a movie star, a musician, and now you can paint? Whoa.
Right.
We better follow you.
Right.
So how many people are behind the scenes, you know, building this, like, or I'm not, you know, seen a lot of Banksy ads. I'm getting suspicious of this guy.
Well, and then like, how would anybody know if Banksy's work is Banksy's work? And I know there's all kinds of conspiracies, but beyond that, like, you or I could put a piece up and say it's a Banksy, and there's nothing to authenticate it.
Pretty effing close to,
yeah,
you know, imitating the guy. It's pretty simple stuff.
It's not out of my wheelhouse.
No, it's high concept. It's good timing, but it's like a team. It's got to be an enormous team.
I kind of see them as greeting cards. They're all really clever.
Yeah. Oh, like yeah. What did they used to call it? Like dime store. That dime store. What they're like phrases?
Home. Yeah.
Parables or whatever. They're
fromage.
Yeah. Fromage. So?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes. Okay, I got it. I'm with you. Can you tell what I'm painting yet? Can you tell what I'm painting yet?
Yeah.
Put on the.
Did you just watch the Thomas Crown Affair?
I just watched it.
Oh, Marguerite.
Logan really likes Marguerite, hey?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wonder if you watched the Thomas Crown Affair.
Interesting.
I got 819. That's all the videos, right? I showed all the videos. Did I? That's a question.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. 4. Did I show 4 videos? Puppets, Invisible Lady, Headless Lady, and the Isle of Roux. Yeah.
I thought it was really funny that you called Invisible Lady Susan because there was an invisible woman.
That might be embedded in my childhood.
In your psyche. Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Invisible Lady.
To tell you the truth, it was more because I was listening to The Replacement and I was thinking about Black Eyed Susan.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Dancing next to me. All right, I wonder how long I can get away with painting with just blue. I'm in my blue period. Maybe I needed to paint Picasso. All right, we got 40 minutes left, hey?
Holy.
Time for Guernica. Just enough time for Guernica.
Just enough time. Finished sewing my strap on my purse. My fingers are in pain.
Yeah?
Yeah. It looks really good. But now I'm going to do something.
That's what you did for art making?
Calming. Yeah, because I had time. And I'm now done, so I feel really happy.
I'm not painting Guernica. That's how I punish myself. Did I get rid of that book?
No.
You keep taking it away from me.
No, I don't have it. What was I thinking about? Cully is the K in my book. What else was the book that Rich is looking at? We got as a gift from. So we met Alexander Elliott in Venice Beach when we went there about
12 years ago?
11
years ago.
11 years ago,
Yeah.
before Rumble House,
Mm-hmm.
In between Gorilla House and Rumble House. And hi, Scott.
Where's Scott?
He's there. He said
Hey,
hi.
Scott, you want to come on with us?
And so we met Alexander Elliott, and we just like bought Sight and Insight, like 130 copies to give away to people. We like there's all this like things, but then his daughter, after he passed away, his daughter sent us a beautiful package of books, of his books that they had collected over the years. And this one was from the time frame that he was arts editor for Time magazine, and it's 300 years of American paintings. And we just, it's nice to look at his thoughts every once in a while. This one's from 1957, right?
Oh, I don't know.
This book.
You know?
Yeah. And the print is so beautiful. You can see the indent of the writing on the backs of the pages, and you can feel the plates. You can feel the ink. Beautiful print process. Also, I just love the smell of old books.
Yeah, like it reminds me of the Glenbow.
Yeah. When it used to be the Glenbow.
What is it now?
No, it just makes me really sad.
Oh, I see. They're not changing the name?
I'm just going to miss.
The Cowboys Art Space?
Oh, no. Oh, nice. Scott says next week. You can join us.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime.
Do you think the smell of old books could be synthesized?
Yep. Want to know how?
Go to the thrift store.
Will
Just
do.
get a towel and leave it in the bathroom on the floor.
No. It's not the same.
Okay,
It smells like college.
Can I also say this? Have you had the experience of like, because you live in Vancouver now, right? So
Yeah.
do you think about how it smells there, or when you come back, you notice there's a smell missing, and then you get home to Vancouver, you're like, it's kind of wet smelling here. Do you have that experience?
Like see.
Like if I come back from Vancouver, well, first of all, I start getting nosebleeds.
Yeah.
Second of all, I would think when I get here, I unpack my suitcase and I'm like, oh, it really smells weird, like kind of a funk. So like everything in Vancouver is a little bit wet smelling.
Yeah.
Like if you have leather in Vancouver,
Over here,
you really think of like, do you wear leather?
rarely.
Yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
that's something that leaves your life in Vancouver because like you can wear leather in Calgary.
A lot less wool, a lot less denim.
You don't wear wool?
I wear merino wool. I got woolies on, like I got my long johns on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wear merino. It's like but it's a different game. It's my Calgary woolies are like it's a whole another beast.
Yeah. So that's actually like if you want to kind of dress swank in Vancouver, you'd have to be like a fancy umbrella guy.
Cashmere. Would cashmere shrink?
Mm.
A fancy umbrella guy.
Do you have like Arctex and Gore-Tex and all the tech stuff?
No. I'm cooler than that. I
thought like you get pushed around in the street if you're not wearing the same like Arctex uniform as everybody else.
I mean, I do have some like cool guys only like rain garments. Yeah, but
show me some.
Okay, I got this North Face. I got this dry vent.
Right. Did I say Arctex when I was thinking?
The pullover. You want me to do it? You want me to get this piece out?
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't. Oh,
can you put together like a jaunty, like a stylish rain outfit?
It's nice out right now. I put my rain.
No, but what I mean is like, let's say you're going to go to an opening and you wanted to look fancy. You wouldn't wear like the mountain climbing stuff, I hope.
No. I have a jacket problem. I got more tasteful and then
you have to in Vancouver because you have to let your other jacket dry out.
Yeah. I got a ton of North Face. I got 3 really nice North Face. So sometimes even that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like the guy wearing Arc'teryx will take it off and have like a nice coat on or
right.
Like whatever that is.
You ditch it at the door and use the coat check.
Yeah. You layer up. Same in Calgary. You layer up. You know, like Calgary layers are really cool in the fall.
We go to great lengths to not look like we live in Calgary.
And I can't ever escape it from in here. You know that. Yeah. You can tell I was born in Edmonton from 100 feet.
Yeah. What do you wear that's specific to Edmonton?
Oh. LA Kings hats.
Right.
Yeah. Gretzky, baby. Gretzky, let's go. That's probably the deepest cut ever. That's an Edmonton born.
Wait, wearing LA Kings?
Yeah, Gretzky did some big things for the Oilers, and then
I know who Gretzky is.
Yeah, you know who Wayne Gretzky is? Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Gambling addict.
Have you heard my Gretzky story?
No, or maybe, but
yeah, it's probably like, when you think about it, there's a good chance you've heard it.
I'd hear it again.
So I moved to Calgary from Coquitlam, and before that I was living in St. Albert. And I don't know why this is true, but I'd never heard of like hockey for young people. I thought adults played hockey. So I had an uncle that played for the Bonneville Sabres, but I didn't know like kids could play hockey, and they had like miniature equipment for kids to wear. Like that was mind blowing to me. I guess maybe coming from Vancouver, it wasn't really so much a thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could skateboard almost year round in Vancouver. So that said, I moved to Calgary. I wasn't expecting the hockey culture. Would you say that like maybe Vancouver has more like an American hockey culture? Like they have a team, but they, it's not really the first primary. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like in Vancouver, hockey was more like LA hockey rather than like in Calgary. It's like a religion, right? Like,
right. Like downtown gets, the lights on during a game, but it's not. That's just population density. It's not even.
Yeah, and they're just sort of celebrating a thing they can celebrate, kind of like when you're not really Irish and you're freaking out.
Nobody's boxing you out for being a Habs fan out here.
Right. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
So I moved to Calgary, and I was not used to hockey culture.
Yeah.
And on my first day at school, there was a math quiz, which, the teacher said, you don't really have to worry about this too much because obviously you just got here. But there's a bonus question on the math quiz, and it was, what's the suckiest player in the NHL? What's their hockey number? And I was like, the answer is supposed to be 99. And I swear it was a test that after I got that question wrong, I was not trusted by that teacher in that school anymore. But I was supposed to write Wayne Gretzky sucked on my test if I wanted a bonus point on my quiz.
And what, you said no? That he was the king? Since the old-time legend?
Yeah, well, like, what a shameful thing for a Canadian to do to children, too, right? Like, we're supposed to keep our politics to ourselves, and this guy's, like, trying to pervert my opinion of the greatest hockey player ever, I guess. I say that just because I've heard it on the radio. I don't know if that's true.
I called Gretzky a gambling addict earlier. I want to redact my.
Is there a story of him having a problem with gambling?
I don't know.
I'd almost like him more if that was true.
I think he was using his wife, and she was betting on him. I don't know. I think it's just the best. So why wouldn't you bet on yourself?
Well, as long as he wasn't throwing games to.
No, I think it was the other way around. It was like I got to get 4 more assists than I think I'm gonna get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I made a crazy bet.
I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is like Vegas rules. Like once you start winning, they break your legs. Like,
yeah, right.
Casino's great as long as you're losing, and then if you win, they're gonna hurt you. So, where's the fun in that? Do you ever gamble?
Oh, I love gambling. Yeah.
Are you being serious or?
No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm addicted to scratchers.
What's a scratcher?
They're like the gas station scratch and wins.
I thought you were talking about stickers you put on street signs.
Oh, I'm
addicted to that too. I know.
I'm hooked on that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what else? I love blackjack. I'll just play card games. Card games that I can kind of stay on top of.
I don't like any game or sport I can't win with my rage.
Yeah.
If being angry will help me win, I'm pretty much set. But if I have to rely on luck, I'm not crazy about that.
I'm trying to get back into lacrosse. They used to call me the Hulk. I like that.
Can you use rage in lacrosse?
Oh, that's the whole thing.
They used to say in wrestling, if you lost your cool, you'd lose the match, but that's not true. I was able to pull out childhood trauma to use it to my advantage all the time.
It's not true.
And running too. Like I used to be like, okay, like I'm just gonna run until I die.
Yeah.
I would set my mind to dying by running, and then I'd be fast.
And then you'd be fine.
Kind of like in Gattaca. He was trying to. His brother was the better swimmer. They were twins, and they had a swim off in the ocean, and he had to save his brother. The brother's like, "How did you, Vincent? How did you make it back?" He's like, "I wasn't saving any for the swim back." He's like, "Okay, way to go." He sold that one to me.
Gattaca, is that Jude Law?
Is it? Yeah, I think he was in there, but I remember Ethan Hawke being,
Is it? It's like sci-fi
ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot Jude Law was in it. I remember somebody annoying was.
R.I.P. Pope Francis. R.I.P. Pope Francis. Happy Easter.
R.I.P.
It's hard to. Okay, so listen. Like a lot of people I know, like have opinions of things like popes, right? And they'll talk about this is a great pope or that's a bad pope, and they'll talk about like all the good things or bad things they've done. But what I find is I don't speak Italian, and so I'm always like limited by translation. And so my understanding is that this was a pretty good pope that was like thoughtful and caring and compassionate and looking out for the little guy. But then at the same time, you'd see like him speaking, and the translators would say he was saying this, and then depending on the news source, you'd say the same clip, and the translators would be saying he's saying that. And there might have even been some nuances in his speech where he intentionally picked words that could be translated in whatever way you wanted it to. But I have a really hard time, really getting to know somebody when I don't speak the language.
That's fair.
So, do you know much about the Pope? Was he a good Pope?
No, but sorry. Go ahead. Was he a good Pope?
Oh, who are you asking?
There were some bad ones in history.
I think I liked him because he had some life experience before. He was like a janitor.
Yeah. So my experience is the people I don't trust didn't love him as a pope, so it made me think that he's probably a pretty good pope.
Nice.
I do that kind of shortcut with a lot of things. There'll be certain people that I just check in on, and I'm always kind of in league with. And then if I don't have time to check into something, if they believe what I believe or what my instincts might be leaning me towards, then I kind of like, I don't think Jon Stewart's ever said anything I thought was stupid.
Mm.
And Trevor Noah as well seems to be pretty in line with what I believe. I don't think Donald Trump ever said anything that I thought was right. So that's the same kind of like, there's certain people that have
litmus tests.
If Ben Shapiro says it, then I'm probably not on board, Probably the person I spent the most time trying to figure out was Elon Musk. Kind of wanted to keep the door open for that guy for a while, and then actually it was the Boing Boing Corporation. We started making flamethrowers. I'm like, I'm not sure if that's my guy. Was that Boing Boing? Was Boing Boing defeated?
I don't know. Rumblefish?
Is it? It's it was, you know what it was, is there's a picture in that book of the Civil War.
Oh.
And I thought I would paint the
Civil War
Canadian insurrection for the end of the month.
Oh no. Just keep swimming. It's very beautiful.
Truckers didn't show up for the tariffs war. They better not show up for the next election.
The Monday vote.
I did see like some stickers for there's a Canadian flag and it said we will not concede or something like this. I thought that's totally something I would have said, only like not in context of not accepting the election, but more in terms of like, don't tell me what to do.
Right. It's like you take the Rage Against the Machine lyrics and flip them from a different perspective, and it's like, you can't like stop ruining all of the good lines.
Yeah. Or DOA.
Yeah.
Joey Shithead would knock you out, man.
Yeah. Just gotta start knocking people out.
Is that like a never-ending? Is that samsara, where like rage against the machine becomes the machine? Is that?
Yeah, totally.
That was
just
actually in the
never-ending
book that I was just
pain.
reading. It's a book called what's it called? Subversive History of Rock.
Subversive History of Music.
And they talk about how on each musician that was subversive within a generation, it would become necessary to turn them into the mainstream. So Elvis, they thought, was Satan, and then
he was
next thing you knew, he was
guy.
invited to see the president. And so the Beatles were like, devils to the parents, and then they were. Jazz used to be like devil music, and now they teach it in universities, or like even just in one generation, there was this like urge to legitimize everybody. And you're right about that. That happens for sure. Like next thing you know, Zach's going to be putting on graffiti events for children.
Workshops.
Never again.
They say don't work with children or dogs.
Have you ever taught swimming lessons?
Taught
swimming lessons?
No. But I teach. I coach wrestling. I coach wrestling. I often say to people that like criticize teachers that have children, I'm like, have you ever had like a birthday where you have to take care of like 12 kids and they're not your kids? They at least want to be there, right? Versus like you're trying to teach some class and the kids don't want to be in that class and they don't want to be at school and they just think you're old and weird. You're like, dude, I'm cool when I'm not here.
When I'm not here.
Yeah.
I wonder if this touches. I really like this guy.
Zach, is it possible for all my talk about politics that, and I'm not asking you, but hopefully I haven't alienated you because we might not have the same politics, and I tend to talk about these things like, and like these people piss me off and those people piss me off, but it could be that like you're just quietly like, man, I hope I'm not offending you.
No, I can't share my politics. I'm humbled by your bravery. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. And
I wasn't asking. I was just like wondering if like I've lost. I keep an eye on my numbers when I start mouthing off. So like generally there's like this is a thing, right? So we've got 5,000 people on the Facebook page, and there'll be 5,020 follows and 5,005 likes, and then election will come, and then there'll be like 5,015 follows and 4,995 likes. And I think I'm pretty good. What's happening?
Kelly said she's setting up a Calgary Expo.
Yay,
we
Expo.
hope you have fun. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay. No, it's just that I do sort of keep an eye out, like, this is the season where I start to upset the fascists.
Season of the witch.
And then if I really, want to say something, but I'm, trying to be a little cautious, I'll invite Theo to comment on it because I think Theo's politics are quite similar to mine, only he's a little more verbal.
Oh, yeah. That's your siren. It sounded different than our sirens.
Yeah, your turn.
I have a siren. It's from the 1800s. Here we go. Ready? It's also from Bob Dylan.
Nice.
I could have bought this for $5, but we went down the rabbit hole and got one for
actually from England,
from the 1800s.
Yeah.
I was in the basement mixing up the medicine.
And you know what else? You know what else? I bought this and I had it in my pocket for a week. Then we went to
The play.
a play, and on the way out of the play was like 30 clowns protesting in clown language.
Oh, cool.
So they're talking this weird gibberish and like shouting at us. And I think it was meant to be funny, but it was also kind of jarring. And we're going up the steps and they're like leering over the steps, like going, they're talking this like gibberish. And I put my hand in my pocket thinking, man, if my clown whistle was in my pocket, this would be.
Oh,
I hope I didn't break anybody's speaker. Where do you want the killing done? I don't know what that means.
No killing. We're all good. we kill with kindness here.
Did I say killing?
Maybe earlier.
Like, I'm really killing it on this painting.
Right.
I got all these little lamps. They're not great colors. And I ordered some shoes, Zach. I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna have some fancy Italian feet soon.
nice.
It'll change my life to some extent because I don't think I've worn shorts in about 15 years. Remember we used to know this guy Guy, who was a total like living Muppet. Maybe we met Guy through Darcy.
He was a hockey player.
Yeah, he played for the Hartford Whalers for 3 games, and they got busted smuggling some contents over the border, and now he like sells bicycles and other things he finds in dumpsters. Super nice guy, but just a total wild man. And we were bike riding, and he was the kind of guy that you wouldn't see for 2 years, and then he would just walk up behind you and finish the conversation he was having last time. And we're just bike riding along the path, and he shows up right behind me. He's like, "Yeah, man, I guess you're one of these guys that wears jeans in the summertime too, eh?" And I looked over, and he had this chopper that was impossible to ride. And he was the only other. Guy and I were the only 2 people on plus 40 degrees wearing
Jeans.
the dungarees. But for sure, like it gets to a certain point in the summer where you just can't take your pants off, you know?
Yeah.
Blinding. But I'm going to start with these shoes because I think if I wear them without socks, I might get some sun on my ankles, and then I might feel encouraged to. I used to go running with the cross country kids at the beginning of the school year, but I have to warn them not to look at my legs. Like, listen, guys, it's warm out. I'm going to put shorts on, but whatever you do, don't look down.
Are there some life hack like stockless shoe techniques?
He was quoting Bob Dylan on Highway 61.
Oh, right.
Thank you, Scott. Sorry, we're not with it.
We are pretty with
we
it.
are
with
it,
Bob
but
Dylan lyrics, but
I think because we have been talking about pretty like big ideas tonight, we were like, oh, did we say?
I will say
we
this
love
too,
Highway
right?
61. That was the record that Bob
Right.
Dylan played. That
In his book Chronicles, he talks about regretting
Masters of War.
Masters of War. It's like I might not have said that if I'd thought it through.
But that was a pretty powerful statement.
Right.
Because everyone else was just being like
Dill holes?
sad about it or
Yeah.
whining about it. And he said, like, I'll be looking down on you in your grave. I think that's pretty ballsy.
That was actually when Gonzo and I had a falling out over the gallery the first time. I was like, dude, you're 2 years older than me and you smoke, so I'm going to outlive you by at least 5 years. I'm going to make a point of taking a crap on your grave. It's like pretty. It's
pretty cutting, Taylor.
Yeah, I was in a bad mood, I guess.
I didn't mean to interrupt your conversation. You were saying something else. I think you thought my comment was brutal. It was.
No, it's like too close to home.
It wasn't brutal compared to their conversation tonight. It actually fit in, and we were hoping that we didn't give the wrong idea. So you were perfect, Scott.
Scott is not brutal.
You are not brutal. You are perfect.
One of the most loving.
Also,
people
you
ever
are
met.
quoting Bob Dylan. This is
right. And to be fair, I don't think if you'd asked Jess or I, like, pick an artist that we wouldn't possibly be able to miss the quote. we would have said Bob Dylan. Because like within arm's reach is a book on how to read Bob Dylan, all of
the
his songs with all of the stories. And I read it on the regular.
Just sometimes we miss it. Because we're thinking about other things too.
But is that that doesn't happen every time.
Stop it. Just stop it.
You're not the boss of me. Give me some these little scissors. You're the boss of me.
Apparently not.
Hey Zach, who does the cooking in your house?
Oh, Michi. 100.
Yeah.
You want the night?
200%.
Do you ever have to spend time for yourself and you sort of forget how to take care of yourself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal, eh?
Yeah. It's in there. It's in there. Gotta dig deep. But, yeah.
It's not even that I can't cook for myself. I just lose the will to eat when Jess isn't here.
Yes.
Where did you go yesterday? She went out on a mom date.
Went on a mom date.
Okay, this needs to go somewhere I can get paint stain. Over there, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Watch it doesn't drip.
Yep. I'm going to put this underneath.
I got time for one more painting. You got any big ideas?
Oh, that's really good with the light.
Yeah. Zach?
Yep. Let's go with the Son of Man.
Underneath it.
Good drip.
I put a thing underneath it.
What did you say?
Pierce Brosnan or the Son of Man or
I might do something from the Thomas Crown Affair. You made a good call.
Nina Simone.
Love Nina Simone. I think also that, you know what, maybe we will watch that film again. Because what happens is I love Steve McQueen movies so much that it was hard for me to see Pierce Brosnan do that, but I do remember the art heist was like an upgrade for the film.
I want to see the McQueen one.
Well,
Oh,
I think it's like banking in the Steve McQueen one. So it's a cooler guy, but not as cool of a story.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't any good images I want to work with for.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I don't know anything about painting.
What did you say? What did you say?
I don't know anything about painting.
Sometimes you can feel like that, but you do.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
There'll be a point where you think you know what you're doing, and then you'll really be unbearable.
Frog.
It's like when I first started as a bike courier. The first week I didn't know what I was doing. The third week I knew what I was doing. Man, that second week, when I started thinking I knew what I was doing, came out the alley behind the place I worked at, and I really had a feeling like traffic was coming south to north. So I was looking south to north, and it was clear. I pulled out of the alley, and I looked up, and there was a guy in a BMW. Normally, I don't like Jones over like people with wealthy cars and more stuff than me. Here was a guy in a BMW who I think had race course training. Like Zach, when Zach Lau bought his BMW, they sent him to LA to Vegas to do like race car training. We thought that was a bit excessive. But I'll tell you, whoever was driving this BMW, when I pulled out of this alley without looking, or no, I was looking, but I was looking the wrong way, contrived to use his brakes in a manner that
saved your life.
Made up for my lack of good judgment. So I would have been 100% dead if it wasn't a combination of the driver had a high quality car with some great stopping capabilities and the reflexes of a professional baseball player and the fearlessness to just bang on those brakes in a way that the next 5 cars behind him would also have to bang on those brakes to avoid hitting him. And I just sat there humbled by the fact that I wasn't a piece of a windshield. Like, forget about a deer in the headlights. I was 100% like a mosquito on the dash of his car when he saved my life. But it wasn't when I knew that I didn't know what I was doing. By the end of the week, I knew what I was doing, but it was that those few days when I started to think I knew what I was doing. Those are when people are most dangerous.
I don't know where I'm at in this journey. I don't know if I know. I don't know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing. I don't know that I know that I'm doing it.
You're at the point where it's still fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of like out of that point. I'm at the point where I'm not really even interested in making art anymore. I'm kind of taking a break from it and doing puppets. And then this, actually, what I'm doing right now, is more like me exploiting my comfort zone. But if I was drawing, it would have to be more interesting. But the rest of the week, I kind of look at my paint stuff and go, there's lots of things I'd rather be doing right now. But that might come from a couple things. One, it might be from what did we decide I sold? 3,000 paintings to keep Rumble open. It also might be, though, that somewhere along the line, everybody and their dog decided that instead of like innovating and building new businesses, the new survival model would be to put surviving in the hands of artists, which isn't a bad idea, except it's almost also become sort of a cop-out for the business world, right? Like, oh, well, we're not actually going to sell things anymore. We're just going to rent things to artists so that they can save us all. And that kind of notion that the rest of the world, politics and businesses and everybody is going to cash in on artist creativity makes me not want to be creative around other people anymore. That might sound way more negative than I've been in a while, but there are a number of sort of things where I keep seeing like kind of that exit through the gift shop mentality that like, oh, all we need to do is hire some university kids to do the work for us and we can become millionaires.
It's like the AI. Tell this AI to deliver that information to this AI, and then this AI will post it on a timer, and you can make
like those people that are like putting on like what do you call it? Guy's got a website on how to make $1 million, and it's all yeah. And you wonder if he knows how to make $1 million, why he's charging you for lessons on how to make $1 million, right? Like, just go be a millionaire and enjoy your yacht if it works. But I also kind of teach some kids that don't really think they need to learn things because they can have the AI do all their work. And even just, what's it called when you're just shuffling things on the internet? Like, you're not building a product, but you might have like a series of places you can go to distribute products.
E-commerce.
Right. Is that what that is?
E-commerce, drop shipping. Yeah.
Drop shipping is the word. Did I learn that from you?
From me? No.
Drop shipping is like you've taken middleman to the nth degree of like not even really having, yeah. There's like the ambitious kids that I teach right now think drop shipping is the best. I only really care about people
It's
that make
work.
it. So drop shipping is the opposite of what it means. I don't mind selling things.
Everything
is what?
Everything is work.
Yeah.
Like it looks like that, but it's full time.
Right. Mailing things.
Basically working for Amazon, like, you know. So I don't know.
All right, I gotta up my game in terms of positivity.
Right.
How can I make this positive again?
We end with hope.
There was like a time when we were going to spend more time connecting with businesses and places we really admired, and then mail them stuff out.
We're sending a painting to Shelf Life.
Yeah,
and Bike Bike
to the Apple Store and to Bike Bike, but I do feel like we've gotten a little lazy in terms of like really connecting and telling good stories like that.
Well, Shelf Life is amazing, and we're going to do everything we can to promote independent bookstores in Calgary this week.
Yep,
so,
yep.
So Shelf Life, Owl's Nest, shout out. Make sure you go see your independent bookstores, because on April 26th is Independent Bookstore Day, but we should be supporting them every day.
We should also support Pages.
Oh, sorry, Pages is there too. Kensington?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our local beehive, the beehive in Kensington as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and we went on a date yesterday, and we went to Bombay Tiger, and we tried
that was pretty amazing. Yeah,
new Indian food place in Kensington that opened up. It was delicious.
Maybe that's like a thing we should do. That might be fun, is if we like bought ourselves some Bombay Tiger and ate it during the broadcast.
we could start giving what is it, like food
reviews
online.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea.
I do love food.
Like Zach, One Bite Pizza. Wait, what's it called?
Yeah. I was gonna say, go Barstool, go full Barstool.
Is that what it's called?
And just do a pizza a week.
We don't really eat pizza anymore.
We make our.
Oh yeah. Yeah, homemade pizza. Yeah.
Oh, and also.
Oh, you're off the pizza. You're off the pizza. Can't do it once a week.
Yeah, it's
homemade.
more. So we make homemade stuff.
Yeah.
What is it called? The Spice Market?
I'm sorry, I'm reading.
Spice.
Love you.
Silk Road? Silk Road.
Silk Road.
Silk Road is another place we like to support, and that gives us all of our good spices for all of the food we make at home.
Whoa.
Are you okay?
All good. Little slip. Aggressive brushing.
Yeah, I think we were talking to some people too that were asking if we were still doing the auctions, and I think just people need to start getting used to logging in at this time, because then we'd be able to share a little bit more about what they're doing too. Like, because there are some people that email and ask, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, just jump on Wednesdays, and then we'd be able to talk better about.
We did send that stuff to our friend that had some.
Oh yeah. Thank you for everyone who contributed to our gift to our friend. That was a really nice thing to drop off this last weekend.
Yeah.
That is a joy to be able to
Be in a position to help people.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a really heart-feeling good thing. Especially, I think.
I'm glad it got to you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we opened your last package last week, so then we were able to put that to and deliver that last weekend.
Hey Zach, where is now? I've dropped his name, but where's your friend that was really getting like with us online, getting his art flow going?
Oh yeah, you guys were painting together every week.
Oh, he was here. He was with me.
Yeah. Is that who you're asking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, he's a blue collar. He's a blue collar dude, and the midweek, it's hard for him to like.
Yeah, I get you.
Get home, get across town at rush hour, to get over here to paint after 8 hours of late.
So that's even crazier than you were joining you.
So yeah.
It is like a little bit like trying to get Oliver to join us.
You should get him to do it for these. I shouldn't speak for him. Yeah, but the winter too.
True.
Short days.
Right. I forgot about that with Vancouver.
Hopefully we'll see him this summer.
Is that because it's kind of nestled? Yeah, it gets dark early, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's gray, overcast, and rainy. You don't get those Chinook arches.
Who's the documentary I watched yesterday?
Linda Ronstadt. Oh, it's 9:08. We're going to see the Empire Strikes Back music on Friday at the Jubilee. That's nice. I wonder if they did that in conjunction with the Calgary Expo, hey?
I would say no.
Oh, I would say no.
I would say those things are not connected. Maybe even in like competition.
Oh.
Zach, did you ever listen to country music growing up?
Yeah, I was around. Not too demanding.
I didn't really enjoy country music until we went to Venice Beach. I always thought Johnny Cash was cool.
Your guys' audio is a little glitchy.
Audio
glitching.
Towards me.
Audio glitching. Let us know.
How's the video?
If you hear us. Oh, Zach's out.
Maybe he's
working on some stuff. Hot tamale, vendor on staff.
right, because that's funny. So I didn't really know much about Johnny Cash for quite some time, and I learned about Johnny Cash more so from having spent time on Venice Beach with
Greg.
That's where I began to really dig and understand Johnny Cash, or to some extent, where the interest was really born. And then Linda Ronstadt was like kind of almost the epitome of the kind of music I didn't want to listen to when I was a kid. And so maybe that's because also like maybe I was introduced to, I would hear of her at a time on the radio where like I was going to school in Marlborough.
Right.
And there was this like hour and 45 minutes drive to work in the morning with my mom. And so my mom was a teacher and she brought us to study in Marlborough, and particularly bad era in music that I kind of associate with maybe what I knew about Linda Ronstadt. And so, if you only ever heard Stevie Wonder in the 80s, you wouldn't have maybe understood the importance of young Stevie.
Right.
So,
can I move that knife away from your arm?
What would be amazing is if I cut myself moving the knife on your behalf.
Right. You're right. That would have sucked.
Like, that would have been fine there, but you thought I should change. And anyways, what's happening?
I think they're just seeing if Zach's coming back. Have you lost faith in Johnny Cash? Oh no, he's talking about how he didn't listen to him very much, and then we learned about him.
Love Johnny Cash.
Came to love him.
I learned about Linda Ronstadt from Johnny Cash's his documentary on Johnny Cash.
Right.
And I was feeling maybe a little protective of June Carter Cash.
Right.
And how Linda Ronstadt had showed up to the Johnny Cash show without underpants. So June's like, she is not going on stage like that. And
she's just a hot tamale.
Well, and okay, so but also like because of my age, she was more like one of your friend's moms. Cute. By the time that you know what I mean. So
yeah. I
was actually kind of shocked to find out that she had been kind of young and desirable at one point, which is awful. I feel bad about saying that, but do you know what I mean? Like I didn't.
Yeah, I understand.
Just wasn't what I was presented with.
Right.
A little bit like how, like, if you start listening to Miles Davis with like Bitches Brew, it's not like working your way up, and kind of I often talk about how through the Beatles, your parents might have guided you from like Twist and Shout to
build up to Revolver.
Build your way up to Revolver, exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
So, and have that training on how to really interpret Linda Ronstadt, and then was some of that music a little bit cheesy as well? The what survived through the 80s kind of
right, and like you said, it was the time period, and then if you're born at a certain time, and then like oh geez, that was when I was famous, like great. That's what I'm lumped in with.
Right.
But I think authenticity shines through. Like if you're in a particularly wretched time period, then your authenticity will keep going.
Like things like craft work, and I think
It's not a needle, it's my finger.
okay. I think if Scott's still with us, he could probably talk about when craft work was like a thing in his life. You know. And so I had to come at it from a vastly different.
Kind of cute that Linda on step. Yeah.
Right. He would know.
Yeah. Scott, did you get the paintings in the mail? Hope everything came through. I think we sent you Nixon and Johnny Cash, and then there's a couple pieces that we sent out to you. We could never lose faith in Johnny Cash.
So, Scott, there's a pretty fantastic documentary on her life. Let's say if you liked the Eagles, for instance. She was a chapter in that movie about how she accidentally started the Eagles, which I thought was pretty cute.
And like you're saying, it's like because of who she was. Like she had foresight and but also she was.
They really talked a lot about how she would have an idea and she would want to try something different and she couldn't kind of go back to doing the same old thing. Mm-hmm. And then the record companies would be completely against her trying something unproven. And it would always be to the point where by the time she'd proved it was going to happen, they would all dive on board.
Probably say it was their idea.
Right.
That's just like in the book you were talking about, hey?
Yes, it is.
It's like, nope. And then like Johnny Cash's album, Live at Folsom, right?
But I promise you I will never turn my back on Johnny Cash, Scott, if you're still there.
That I really love that painting. Gosh golly, Rich Teru. That is a gorgeous painting.
I think I will give this painting to Scott. Are you going to sing for us tonight?
What would you like me to
sing?
I
don't know. You probably don't know a Linda Ronstadt song.
I don't think I do, actually. Let's see.
You want to sing an Eagles song?
No.
I got kicked out of the high school band for singing the Eagles. I like the way your sparkling earrings lay against your skin so brown. And I want to sleep with you in the desert tonight with a million stars all around. I think we started listening to the Eagles, ironically, when I was in high school. And then we started really digging them. All right, well, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paintings tonight. What am I going to do with my life?
says, yes, thanks so much. I'm getting a nice postcard together. The Eagles are quite good. Neil Young, Daryl Hannah's one night only show of their documentary Coastal at Chinook was amazing. I would love a painting. That is so nice, Scott. We hope you're doing well too. It's nice to hear from you. What else are we talking about?
The Eagles. You don't know any Eagles?
California.
Oh.
That's the only song.
How about Piano Man?
Isn't that a...
No, it's like Eric Vollmers hates Billy Joel.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, isn't that a Billy Joel song?
I think he hates like Billy Joel because of that song, Piano Man.
Just like make Lying Eyes.
What, is that a...
Eagles song?
No, it's like, I don't like that one.
No, I don't like...
What made you want to sing that one?
Scott said it.
Oh, sorry, Scott.
No. You paint all on. I do want to learn more about Emmylou Harris too.
Oh, because she was in that documentary.
She's in everybody's documentary. She's
and also like, again, like when you see her young, like and super vulnerable, it's super cute because like they all kind of like she helped a lot of people out.
She was part of everybody's story.
Who?
Emmylou Harris.
No, I said that backwards. Because it was Linda Ronstadt that like helped launch Emmylou Harris as well.
Oh.
She said there's a neat thing where she was talking about like how she was singing and she was so cute and like on pitch. And she's like, do I have to hate her or can I just enjoy this music? And then she's like, well, I don't want to hate her, so and have to like find a way to like sit back and love it. And then they became friends.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're doing great. That sounds so mysterious. That's wonderful for you.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it sounds exciting.
Is that dating?
I don't know, but we are just very happy that you're doing great.
I want to know more.
I'm like easier to accept the...
You're totally easygoing with that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's so nice. I'm so happy for you. And you're like, what? I want to know.
Scott, I wonder if you know that I made this paint. I mean, by made it, I spilled some powder into a jar and mixed it with some binder.
I keep thinking of good songs, but I don't know.
Do you know any Emmylou Harris songs?
They sat together in the park as the evening sky grew dark. She looked at him and felt a spark tingle to his bones. 'Twas then he felt alone and wished that he'd gone straight, watched out for a simple twist of fate. They walked alone by the old canal, a little confused, I remember well, stopped into a strange hotel with the neon burning bright. He felt the heat of the night hit him like a freight train, moving with a simple twist of fate. A saxophone someplace far off played as she was walking on by the arcade. As the light buzzed through a beat-up shade where he was waking up, she dropped the coin into the cup. Another blind man at the gate forgot about that simple twist of fate. He woke up, the room was bare. He didn't see her anywhere. He told himself he didn't care, pushed the window open wide, felt the emptiness inside, to which he could not relate, brought on by a simple twist of fate. He hears the ticking of the clocks and walks along by the parrot that talks, hunts her down by the waterfront docks where the sailors all come in. Maybe she'll pick him out again. How long must he wait? One more time for a simple twist of fate. People tell me it's a sin to know and feel too much within. I still believe she was my twin, but I lost the ring. She was born in spring, but I was born too late. Blame it on a simple twist of fate. That's a sad song.
That was a good night.
That was a good night.
We'll see you soon.
We're very grateful. Theo, thank you so much for joining in.
Good night, everybody.
And
we
thank
love
you
you
to Zach for joining in when he could.
Very good, guys. Yes, it was fun.
Nice. Thank you so much for coming.
Ciao for now.